Hey friends, it's Matt with BoLS, and today we are taking a look at Ghostbusters Men in Black Ecto-Terrestrial Invasion. It's a fantastic crossover game. Very excited. It's a semi-cooperative tactical combat game. Each player controls a team of one Ghostbuster and one Men in Black agent, and while each scenario that you play through is won or lost together, each team is fighting to earn the most victory points and get the illustrious Employee of the Week token. So each scenario is going to set up basically the same in terms of the broad strokes. Each player will choose a team of a Ghostbuster and a Men in Black agent to play as. Each hero will have their own starting weapon. Unless you're continuing a campaign, then they get to keep whatever they had last time. This is the first mission I've set up here. It only uses 4 map tiles, so it's a nice, compact map, which is always great. Then the scenario will explain what other tokens to set around. There's hero spawn tokens, alien spawn tokens, objective markers. Then the aliens have to spawn, and for spawning any aliens, whether at the beginning or later, we use these spawn dice. And each symbol represents a different type of alien. There are 3 types of basic aliens: the grunt, the shooter, and the drainer. And depending on what the dice roll, you spawn those aliens at any active spawn point, which is basically any spawn point that the heroes can see. Then finally, you get to the Firehouse Tower. So this is sort of a main mechanic of the game, and the way it works is each of these ship tokens, it's a dice tower, but it has these blocks, these alien ship tokens that are slid into it, which lay flat. So as you drop a die into it, it doesn't fall out. And then throughout the game, you'll have to pull these tokens out, and sort of like Kerplunk style, as the dice fall out, that spawns new aliens. So that's sort of the main mechanic throughout the game. You'll have to be pulling these either through various game effects or what have you. We'll be pulling these out. And typically, anytime all of the tokens are pulled out, the mission ends and the players lose. So this is also your game timer. Then a handful of other little bits and bobs throughout, but for the most part, that's set up. Pretty straightforward. On each player's turn, they will have 4 actions that they can distribute however they want between their 2 heroes. They could do 4 actions with one and 0 with the other, 2 and 2, whatever. So before or after taking those actions is when the player gets to make their single attack. You only get 1 attack per turn, unless you decide to spend all 4 of your actions to perform an attack with both heroes, in which case, which is called crossing the streams, and it just adds a little bonus effect to that attack as part of also getting to attack twice. Each time a hero attacks, they choose which weapon they will be using. Each weapon has 3 different stats: its range, its number of dice rolled, and its battery requirement. So to use that weapon, you have to spend that battery token. And when attacking, they attack every alien in that square. So when you're rolling your dice, for example, here I rolled 2 grunts and a drainer, so I would be able to deal 1 damage twice to any grunt, or 2 damage to one, and then 1 damage to a drainer. Actions can be anything from moving, which is all done orthogonally, just like attacking is all done orthogonally, just up, down, left, right, no diagonals. You can also interact with the objects on the board, for example, having to interact with a objective marker of some sort, or pick up one of the gadgets laying around the map. You have a bunch of different gadgets. They do a variety of different things, and they are discarded after use. Once each player has taken the turn, they move on to the hot sheets phase. During the hot sheets phase, players will draw one of the hot sheet cards, which are, the tabloids from Men in Black. These cards have a variety of different effects, some positive, some negative. Some often have a choice: gain this thing by paying this price. But this is also sort of what facilitates alien spawning. On each of the hot sheets, there is a symbol in the corner. Each time one of these symbols is drawn, that PKE level meter increases for that alien type. Once they reach 3, there's an explosion at the firehouse tower and one of these ship tokens is pulled out. So that's the sort of cycle which forces new aliens to spawn. Once that's done, then the Ecto-Terrestrials, or ETs, get to go, and each of the 3 different types have a standardized way of moving, and they each have different types of attack, and then each time one of the heroes gets attacked, they get to defend themselves similar to how they attack. They take one of these black dice and roll it, and if they can land a symbol of the ET that is attacking them, they block that damage. And then that round ends and the next one begins, and each scenario will dictate the objectives for the players. And then, once the scenario is completed, between each normal scenario, there's a boss fight. And these boss fights are fantastic. First of all, these miniatures are just great. They're huge and they're detailed and they're sturdy. They're just great set pieces, if nothing else. But they each have their own battle card of how they work and fight and interact. And then when the boss fight is completed, you get to move on to the next mission, choosing which of the 2 branching paths you want to go down, culminating in the final boss fight against Space Pirate Zorg, who's the one who crashed into the tower to begin with. Then between each mission, depending on how well they did, each team will earn money. And that money can be spent on various weapons and equipment, which can be used for each agent. Each one can hold 4 items. So there's a good variety of customization options. You'll have a selection to choose from for each time you buy. So you'll be able to really fine-tune how you want your team to build and work together. And that's a real quick overview of how to play and everything in it. What I really love about this game is not only the very close to my heart nostalgia factor, but it's a very streamlined kind of tactical combat game. A lot of these sorts of games tend to be very heavy, and that's great, and don't get me wrong, I love those kinds of games, but sometimes you're looking for something kind of midway. I mean, this is not lightweight, certainly, but this is a good midweight game. It's quick to set up, it's got a light tone, it doesn't get too heavy in any one mechanic, and the dice tower is just such a fun idea. The rules even explicitly state if you accidentally bump the table and dice fall out, that totally counts, which is just a fun rule to throw in there. But overall, I really like this game a lot. It's so quick and streamlined, and it's got tons of customization options, not only with each of the characters, who of course have their own unique abilities, but all of the different equipment and items that you can get. It's a great way to play one of these strategy tactic combat games without having to spend a whole afternoon. It is a fairly quick playing game. The box says 75 minutes. I think once you get the swing of it, it probably wouldn't even take that long. It's a great midweight game. Absolutely love it. Highly recommend it. Cannot stress enough how great it is. And plus, you get a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. So if all of that sounds interesting, please go check out Ghostbusters Men in Black Ecto-Terrestrial Invasion. Again, I am Matt with BoLS. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.